Hello everyone. Wanted to share some information with you about my REI Co-op CTY 1.1. If you go on YouTube, you'll see that there's tons of videos about the DRT 1.1. That's their entry-level mountain bike. This is their entry-level commuter bike, hybrid bike. There isn't much info about this bike at all. So right now, if you're like me, you were trying desperately to find a bicycle. I started at Walmart. They had nothing. Called local bike shops. They explained to me due to COVID and I guess tariff stuff that was going on between us and China and now high demand for bikes, it's just impossible to get a bicycle. I, not knowing anything about bikes, thought I was going to spend $100, $200 on a bike and be perfectly happy with it. I'm very glad that I didn't go that route because I really do love this bike so much that it doesn't even matter. Right now we're going through like a heat wave here in Cleveland, Ohio, and I ride this thing every day as far as I can stand it. And I'll bet I wouldn't feel that way if I had one of those $100 Walmart bicycles. I sort of already had one of those. I had an entry-level mountain bike from Dick's Sporting Goods that I bought about 10 years ago, and I just never liked that thing. I remember that was $100. It was a great deal, but the bike was just extremely uncomfortable. I didn't know why. The gears didn't shift well. I didn't know why. I don't know, maybe if I had educated myself more. Anyway, back to this bike. I was looking for something that looked like this, and it seems like every all the big box stores and everything, they want to sell you something with a suspension fork on the front, which on those entry-level bikes, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're garbage anyway. So it's just added weight, and it's not giving you any added comfort or anything like that. I wanted a bike that looked like the bike I had when I was in high school. And for a while, I thought maybe I was going to go with these like city bikes, like Brilliant bicycles, or let's see, the one Priority. I guess they're like the same company. Something really clean, something basically that looked like just a older style, sort of, vintage looking bike. And I found this on accident. I was looking for used bikes in the Cleveland area, and I heard about a place called the Cleveland Bicycle Co-op. They specialize in used bicycles. So while I was Googling them to see what they had, an ad for this came up. I never bought anything from REI before. I did not know that they had their own house brand of bicycle. So this was cheaper than the Trek FX or Verve that I was looking at. This was cheaper than the Giant Escape that I was looking at. And by the way, again, all of those bikes, local bike shops told me, you can have it by August if you're lucky, but more realistically, you'll have it by November. And I just couldn't wait that long. So I saw the ad for this. I went to the REI website, and I couldn't believe it. They had these bikes in stock. And, they sort of had them in stock. They had smalls and mediums. It said you could order it, but you would have to wait 30 days before it shipped. And the large and extra large were available. So I looked at their sizing, and I'm only 5'8", so their website said I should get a medium. But then I was researching about like measuring your inseam, found out that I guess I have a fairly long inseam for somebody of my height. So my inseam was like 31 and a half, 32 inches. So standover height on this bike. For the large, I fit just fine, so I figured, what the heck, I'll try it. And I love it. Now, the bike is great for my legs, but I did feel like I was reaching a little too far. So this is actually the stem that came on it. And I'm trying to see where it says, there it is, 100, this is a 100 millimeter stem. And so if I put it where it was originally, what am I doing? You can see how much lower it was and how much further out the handlebars were. So Bought this replacement one on Amazon for under $20. It's a 45-degree angle. There's all kinds of different angles and lengths. This one is a 90 millimeter, and it made the bike absolutely perfect for me. When I ordered this bike, REI wasn't letting people come into their store, but you could buy stuff and have it shipped to the store, and they'd assemble it, of course, and you know, they were all very professional. They did a terrific job. The bike still shifts great. It was set up just perfectly. But then maybe a couple of weeks later, maybe a week later, they opened up and they let people come in. So I went there to get a helmet, and somebody returned a medium. And I actually got to sit on it and ride it around, and I was very glad that I got the large, because the medium, first of all, I could not raise the seat high enough to accommodate my legs. And when I pedaled, I felt like, I don't know if this is possible, if the cranks maybe are shorter on the medium than they are on the large. Now, this original stem that the large came with is 100 millimeter. On the medium, the stem was only 90 millimeter. So, you know, not knowing much about bikes, I always thought that just the frame size was different. But now I'm starting to think it's other components as well. I love everything about this bike. I think you would be really happy with it. I've taken it, I ride it mostly on roads. I live in a really hilly area, pretty rural, and this bike is excellent. I've taken it on light, you know, loose gravel trails. Handles great. Trying to think of what I can point out. I had no intention of buying a bike with disc brakes. That was always an upcharge on, you know, the Trek and the Giant bikes I was looking at. You know, you don't have an option. This is their entry level, and again, their price is already better. This bike is like $549 plus. If you become a REI member, you get their dividend, which is 10% back. So I'll be getting a check for, you know, 54 bucks pretty soon. So I just feel like you can't beat that. Back to the disc brakes. These are mechanical disc, not hydraulic. So I've never had any problem stopping with these or anything like that. I actually prefer the mechanic. I heard that it's cheaper to replace or maintain these as opposed to the hydraulic ones. I just love it. It's clean, it's light, and I'm sure it can hand up to a little light mountain bike riding if you wanted to do that. Tires are 700 by 40C. They're great. The grips even are very nice. These comfort grips that just come with it, which their mountain bike does not, by the way, the DRT 1.1. These don't just slide on either, they clamp on. The shifters are awesome. Again, like I said, this thing shifts like a dream. I bought these lights extra from Walmart. They were like 15 bucks for both the front and the rear, and you could recharge them. USB. How can you beat that? Yeah, so again, just wanted to share this because there's very little info about these bikes, and especially about like the sizing and stuff like that. So I hope that this information was useful to someone out there. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll get back to you. Thanks.